Hello and welcome to the Utah Hockey Podcast. This week we are obviously without our we've got one on the IR this week. We'll talk about the actual IR later, but Kelly has some
upper body or lower body?
I think influenza B would be
upper body.
Upper body. Okay. Yeah. So
day to day, week to week.
Day to day, I would say. Expect Kelly back in the chair early next week. So I guess you could just say week to week because we don't record a podcast every day. Because who's going to listen to that? So it's been a couple weeks since we've chatted with you guys and talked hockey. The busyness of early season, preseason, I think has gotten to Cole. Plus, I guess everyone's sick right now. Have you noticed that? If you have a child, you're probably sick. So I apologize for that. But exciting couple of weeks. I would say the expectations for preseason are something that we wanted to chat about today. Cole, what should new hockey fans expect in the from preseason games?
Yeah, I mean, I think collectively, everyone just kind of needs to take a chill pill right now, and I think that's that's me putting it nicely. Preseason hockey doesn't mean anything, really, at the end of the day.
Yeah,
I mean, yes, you want to instill culture. You want to instill some schemes. You want to, let the veterans get a good sweat and then look at your prospects. Those are the things that matter. And, game results are just not that important. I think it was the Colorado Avalanche, actually. They won the Cup in 2022, right? 2022 or 2023. Yeah. And I believe that preseason, they did not win a single preseason game. And so that should hopefully give Utah fans some perspective on how much you should be how much you should be investing in the results of the preseason.
Yeah, the Florida Panthers lost 2 games to the Predators in the preseason. If you saw that in the regular season, you would be concerned. In the preseason, like you were saying, just the results of the games don't matter all that much.
No.
What the preseason is meant for is for vetting your roster and doing it quickly. You'll see over the next week a trim down on the roster, a significant trim down, because most of the names that you're seeing right now, like we have players who play on the Grizzlies,
right?
On this, or who have played on the Grizzlies on these rosters. Don't take this too seriously. You have a lot of unfavorable pairings as well. You'll have like bona fide all-stars playing with AHL prospects and ECHL prospects and even just brand new players who are going to go play in college this year. So don't take it too seriously. I feel like I've seen a lot of concern about especially star players performing. Yeah. If you've watched the games, and here's where I understand, this is what I was talking to Cole about. I understand the frustration from a fan's perspective of I've been waiting for 5 months for Mammoth hockey. Not quite for Mammoth hockey. Part of that was for Utah Hockey Club hockey, and then it turned into Mammoth hockey halfway through. But I've been waiting all this time, and now I just get to watch these players like lollygag on the ice and get blown out by the Ducks. Is that what I waited for this entire summer? No. I totally understand it not being entertaining. I fell asleep during the Ducks game last night. I did not finish the game because we were losing by so much. Got to see the Gunther goal. That was great. And then the game got out of hand, and it just doesn't matter all that much. If you saw the defensive pairings that were in front of Vemelka.
There was one NHL skater.
Yeah.
It was Sergachev.
Yep.
Everybody else was, Lamrou, he played 15 games for the club last season. He's pushing hard, but I don't expect him to play very many NHL minutes this year. You had, Duda and Zuber.
He's looked good, though.
Yeah.
Lamrou's looked good. So.
Yeah, I think he's looked decent. I don't know that I would put him in like the good or great category as of right now. I think offensively, he's taken some steps.
Yeah.
He's moving the puck really well. He's confident. He's calm, which is a big deal. I think, when I've watched him previously, he's kind of been prone to trying to do too much, looking a little bit nervous. That appears to have gone away, but he's still making a few mistakes defensively. He's losing the puck in bad areas. He's just not as aware as he should be, I think, in the defensive zone. And that's just continuing to come with time. He's a young player. He hasn't really even played that much in the AHL, over the last 2 seasons. So give him some time. But regardless, the point is, don't put so much on these preseason games. I understand it's been frustrating because they've been blown out multiple times. The rookie showcase was brutal.
Yeah, if you don't count the rookie showcase, we've been blown out in 2 of 3 preseason games, and the other 2 rookie showcase games.
If you count the rookie showcase, I was disappointed in that as well.
Yeah.
Like I will share in the disappointment with the rookie showcase because there were way too many first-round picks on the ice for Utah. But I think it was just more effort. I just don't know that those guys were like really dialed in, and maybe they were saving themselves more for training camp, and that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And yeah, of course, losing to the Ducks was 6-1 last night, and 5-1 to the previous night to Colorado. Yeah, those are brutal. That's not fun to watch.
No.
And when you've been waiting as long as Mammoth fans have and just chomping at the bits to get some hockey, I get it. But at the same time, relax.
Yeah.
Don't just relax.
Turn on Chell, put it on rookie mode, and just put up 100 points, and you'll get over it. I promise. That's what I used to do as a kid.
Yeah.
When Notre Dame would lose to anyone in college football, I would just put it on rookie mode and put up 100 points, and then
you feel better.
Brush it off and go to school the next day. Exactly. It's fine.
But there have been some positives, I think, to take away, like some significant positives. So, look past the scores. Just don't even pay attention to those. Because at the end of the day, the coaching staff isn't, and that's fine. The positives, I think we can kind of jump into a couple of those. First and foremost, and this is something that a lot of people were actually like DMing and jumping in the comments asking us to talk about, is Tij Iginla.
Yeah. And
so before I kind of give my analysis of what I think of Tij, I'm just curious, what have you seen? What have you liked from Iginla?
I think that this is a fair comparison. He is. I just feel like he looks a lot. He plays a very similar game to his dad, and it's fun to watch. It's almost like one of my favorite players to watch last year was Josh Stone. I've been very vocal about that. I was bummed when he got traded. Still wish he was wearing a Utah sweater, but he is Josh Stone, but faster and more skilled. And I think that his game is going to go a long way. I don't. From what I've seen so far, I don't see him cracking the roster this year. I would love him to, and I think most fans would love him too. But there's just something special about watching an Iginla wearing number 12, skating around guys, having the control that he does. His mind for where the puck is and where his teammates are is pretty awesome. So I would love for him to crack the roster. I don't think he will, but I'm really optimistic about his game and think he could totally benefit from another year in Kelowna.
You know what's funny about him wearing number 12? I asked him about this the other day. They just gave him 12. Like, he didn't pick that.
Oh, really?
No. Well, because he wears 11 in Kelowna.
Yeah.
And Gunther wears 11 right now. You're not going to take number 11, from Dylan Gunther. And so I guess Utah just gave him 12. And my guess is that it's because his dad wore that in his NHL career.
From what I know about the organization, there's not like just because you're only a year into owning a hockey team, there's not like the most amount of hockey knowledge in some of the ranks.
Yeah.
That's totally okay. That's not a knock on SEG. That's not a knock on the organization. I'm wondering if they were just like, he's 11, let's just give him the next one.
And they were like teammates, right?
Yeah.
They were teammates not too long ago. So I asked him about it. I said, did you pick that? He goes, no, they just gave it to me. I said, well, is it going to stick? Because like your dad wore 12 and that was like his number.
Yeah.
Are you going to, kind of pay tribute to the Iginla name and keep it going? And he said he didn't know. And I was like, okay, well, I mean, that's fine. Right. I mean, I hope he stays with 12. Cause like you said, there's just some magic about an Iginla on the ice with 12 on the back of their jersey.
Yeah. Really just having that name on the ice is the same feeling as seeing a Doan on the back of somebody's jersey. It's just like,
So we'll see.
It's nice.
I don't know if he's going to end up wearing 12. I hope he does because it just looks good.
Yeah, I feel like if we're talking about just from the perspective of let's sell a lot of jerseys,
right? Imagine if he cracks the roster this year.
Oh yeah.
Do you know how many Mammoth sweaters with 12 on the back are going to be sold?
Yeah.
Like I think that's a must-have.
Yeah, if you're thinking about, man, I'd like a pretty nice check from Fanatics or from whoever that check comes from at the end of the month. Yeah. You should wear 12.
No, it's for sure. I mean, not just because it's the first year of the Mammoth, but if he does make that roster, which then they would print his jersey, because you have to play an NHL game for your jersey to be able to be purchased and made. That's one I think that you got to have. First pick ever in the history of the organization. It's an Iginla. If he was able to come in this year, that'd be a lot of fun. But regardless, going back to his game, here's where I think he differs from his dad and a little bit on Josh Doan. He is not as physically assertive as those two.
Yeah. I wonder if that's a size thing, though.
I think it is.
You're coming in undersized as a child, as a teenager.
Yeah, he's 18.
I'm curious if that might play a role in his willingness to
I mean, I think when you look at the undersized guys in the National Hockey League, and Utah has several of them, right? You've got Clayton Keller, Dylan Guenther isn't overly big, Barrett Hayton, Logan Cooley. You have to find ways to be more effective physically and in both the offensive and the defensive zones if you're undersized, because you're not a big rig. You're not Lawson Krauss. You're not Jack McBain. You're not Stenlund, who can just mow guys over simply based on their size and their strength. You have to be strategic. And what I liked that I've seen from him so far is he is being assertive in the offensive zone, using his stick, using his speed. If he's going to get bumped off of pucks, well, then he better beat the defenseman to the puck, or the forward, whoever it is. And he better be disruptive with an active stick in those passing lanes, and he's done that. Now, there have been some times, and this happened last game and it happened the game before, where he's going into the boards, he's going to 50-50 pucks, and he's easily getting bumped off. Yeah. And that's where he differs from his dad. That's where he differs from Josh Doan. But where he excels is offensively with the puck on his stick, flying up the ice. I pointed this out during the game last night against the Ducks. When he had that no-look drop pass to Dylan Guenther, if you look at his skating, the way that he kind of contorts his body and that he kind of changes directions, he enters and he starts to do this thing with his skates where he puts his feet out like this. It's almost like he's rotating, like he's surveying the zone, looking for the best possible option to attack. Yeah. And when he's in that position, he can rotate the way that he needs to either go at the net or he sees Dylan Guenther coming and drops the pass. And I've noticed him doing that quite a bit during training camp. He did that. I don't know if you guys saw the video that Sam Farnsworth took of him scoring that game-winning goal during that drill, where he comes around the back of the net. He does that with his skates, where he surveys. He sees that there's two defensemen that he can split. He goes ahead and he does that, and then he takes a quick shot. He is so dangerous because of his agile skating and the ability to attack the zone that way. And then, of course, his handles are just elite, and he has a really good wrist shot. I'm not necessarily sold on the one-timer as of right now, but his wrist shot is deadly from anywhere on the ice. And so for Iginla, a lot of people are asking, is this kid going to make the roster? I don't think this year. And not because of his offense. I think his offense is NHL ready. I think it is. Just watching the way that he sees the ice, the way he's able to connect with his teammates, it's NHL ready. But I don't think that a lot of the rest of his game is quite yet. And that's because he's younger. Yeah. He's smaller, he's undersized, and he has not learned how to be scrappy, like a Clayton Keller, for example. Yeah. Clayton's not the biggest guy, but he's scrappy. Yeah. He's not going to let you mess with him.
I think you look at Logan Cooley's game over just his first season and last season, his willingness to put his body out there and go into corners and dig around for pucks has increased significantly. Then you look at a player like Dylan Guenther, who is not as willing to throw his body around, but he doesn't need to. Right. And could Tij Iginla kind of toe the line between a Cooley and a Guenther, still be willing to get messy? I was looking at his size compared to his dad. He's an inch smaller. He's actually just a couple of centimeters smaller, so he's really close in size. And mind you, he's only 19 years old, so he's not done growing. Right. He's going to get bigger, and he's only trails his dad by about 10 pounds.
Mm-hmm. But that could be significant.
It can be super significant, but I think the expectation between the ages of he's early 19. Right. So between the ages of 19 and 20, 19, 21, by the time he makes the roster, that weight should be made up.
Yeah.
Just by size and growth, like his body's still maturing. So he's still trying to figure out how to play with a body that's changing all the time. Every Mammoth fan should be so optimistic about him.
Yeah.
If you could compare him to a player that you see play in the league right now, who would you compare it to?
I don't know. Yeah, I think Dominic Moore last night on the broadcast said kind of like Brad Marchand in a way.
Yeah.
I think he's just so technically skilled, and his game, I think when it reaches like its peak, is going to be not necessarily. I don't know if he's ever going to be a rat like Brad Marchand.
Yeah.
But he's going to be so obnoxious with, he's dangerous from anywhere. Doesn't matter if he's in the corner. Doesn't matter if he's behind the net. Doesn't matter if he's at the point, in the slot, at the face-off circles. He's just dangerous. And as what I've noticed, like I was talking about, is he's being more intent about the way that he approaches, trying to track down the puck. And trying to clog up lanes and trying to beat guys to 50-50 pucks. Yeah. And so, for me, it's tough because I don't know who he is quite yet at the NHL level. But it's exciting. Another thing that Dom said on the broadcast is that Iginla is not an if player; he's a when player. I don't think that when is now. I don't think he makes the roster. I think it's close. Sure. I think he's really, making the coaching staff's decision really difficult right now because his offense is so good. But you got to be a 200-foot player, especially in Bill Armstrong's, prospect pool. If you want to play, you got to be willing to contribute at both ends. And I just don't know that he's there yet. Defensively, I think in the neutral zone he's fine. But like you said, you look at a guy like Dylan Gunther. He has every right and reason to really not contribute defensively. Yeah, he's so good offensively.
He doesn't even not totally contribute. Like you're not seeing Dylan Gunther get walked every game.
Right.
He's there, but doesn't need to be as present.
Right. I mean, he could make any NHL roster just simply based off his offense, but he understands.
Like Patrick Kane.
Yeah. Like if he wants to
never
play
defense ever.
No, if he wants to play winning hockey, if he wants to win Stanley Cups, he's got to be a 200-foot player. Yeah. And he is. He delivered some hits the other night. He is crashing well in the offensive zone. He's contributing defensively. He's clogging up lanes. Like those are all the things you want. I think not that Iginla is unwilling to do those things, but he's learning how to do those things. And so, overall, Iginla's been phenomenal. His offense is there. I think the rest of his game, he still has some progress. Some areas of that he needs to progress. Yeah. So I think he will be one of the last players cut, and that's good.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
because I think next year, when you have a couple more players come off the books, you've got Kerfoot coming off the books. I believe Schmaltz is going to be a free agent. There's going to be some open roster spots incoming. And I think Iginla is going to snag one of those a year from now.
Yeah. If I'm looking at players in the league who I feel, what is Tij Iginla's ceiling? Like you're saying, he's a when, not an if player. He's clearly going to make the roster at some point. I see his ceiling as a David Pastrnak.
Yeah, that name kind of comes to mind for me too.
A little physical, knows how to use his body, doesn't have to all the time, plays good defense, has a great back check, very similar size, plays a similar position. He can play left or right wing, but I see Iginla as almost solely a left wing on this team. If Tij Iginla were to crack the roster, I don't know. And for fans that don't totally know hockey yet, the comparison to David Pastrnak, that is we're saying that Tij Iginla could have a Hall of Fame career at some point. And
I think the potential's there.
Yes, that's the hope. But the skill's there, the potential's there. If he can grow a little bit and get a little bit more physical, I think that's a huge possibility. If Tij Iginla did crack the roster, if he made that decision so difficult that they were like, let's give him a couple games, which happens often with rookies,
injuries,
with young players.
Let's
give him a 7-game, a 10-game run and see how he does. Happens all the time. Where would he slot into the lineup?
Probably on the fourth line.
Yeah, see, I don't even like that. I don't
either.
I don't want him to come play if he's going to play on the fourth line. And that sounds bad, but I just don't. I don't see the purpose.
Maybe the third.
Yeah, like could you squeeze him in on the second line and
no.
Yeah, I don't think you can drop because as it's lined up right now, I don't think these are going to be the final lines. But these
I do think the top 6 is pretty much solidified.
Yeah. What do you think it is?
I don't know who's going to be the top line because I have a hard time believing that you don't have Clayton Keller on your top line in the National Hockey League.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it doesn't like super matter. So here, the top 6 are going to be, Schmaltz, Hayton, Keller, and then Gunther, Cooley, and Peterka.
Yeah.
I don't know which line's going to be top, first or second.
I also not sure those are going to be the lines.
I think they will.
Really?
They want to try that Cooley and Gunther and Peterka line.
I like it.
They want to try it, and it's working.
I would worry about the back check on that line. I would worry about the defense on that line a little bit, but almost every team has a skill line that can go out and score a whole bunch of goals. And Cooley and Peterka's defense isn't terrible. And like we said, Dylan Gunther doesn't play the most amount of defense, but he's not useless. He's still
the coaching staff is very confident in Cooley and Gunther's defense. Not that they're not confident in Peterka, but they know that in Buffalo he wasn't really playing defense.
No.
But I believe that
if you've been following Buffalo for the last forever, no one's ever played defense there, so it's fine.
Bill Armstrong, again, as I've said, he likes 200-foot players. And I am certain that there's been conversations with Peterka going, you want to play here, you got to play defense. You got to contribute. And so I think that's going to be a line to start.
It's surprising. I just don't.
There is so much speed on that line.
Yeah.
And why not give it a shot? Why not give it a 10-game run?
I can't imagine being a flat-footed defender.
Because guess what?
Those 3 guys charging at you. That sounds horrible.
No.
Yeah.
And then, there's so much chemistry between Hayton and Schmaltz and Keller.
Yeah.
Those guys played a lot together last year.
Yeah, it's true.
I think those are going to be your top 6, and I think those are going to be the lines to start the year. I don't know who's going to be the top line and the second line. I don't think it really matters.
Keller's also been playing with Schmaltz and Hayton for a long time. So if you can lean into that, into those roles, I think what we saw last year is that when there was a stat that we talked about that was the highest points per game of any lines in the league, and 2 of them were from the Mammoth in the top 15, and both of them had Logan Cooley. It was Logan Cooley when he was playing on the first line and Logan Cooley when he was playing on the second line. So I see him as the staple of this team. I actually don't hate building him in as the top line center and then just putting whoever works best around Logan Cooley. It's not rare for captains to play on a second line. It's not even rare for captains to play on a third line, but not in this scenario. Clayton Keller clearly doesn't ever fall past the second line. And I think maybe the coaching staff sees this as a 1A, 1B kind of situation, which happens often where your first and second lines are kind of playing the same amount of minutes.
Yeah.
Which is a really good sign. If the coaching staff and the management are seeing these 2 lines as 2 first lines essentially, then and we'll make the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
So if these lines can work out.
I mean, these were some of the lines that we saw late last week. Was Gunther, Cooley, Peterka was the top line.
Yeah.
Keller, Hayton, and Schmaltz was second. And then it started to get weird because you have so many guys in camp right now. But the third line was Krauss, McBain, Carconi, and then the fourth was Hebig, Stenlund, and Tanev. I think that you're going to see those third and fourth lines remain mostly the same, but there's got to be players filling in for those last spots. And in those last spots, I mean, does Carconi fill in on that third line to start the year? I don't know. We'll get
Kerfoot is getting back
we'll get into those injuries here in a minute, but Krauss and McBain are going to be on that third line. So who is that third player? And then the fourth line, I think Stenlund and Tanev are going to be on that fourth line. Who is that third player? It's not going to be Hebig.
No, it's probably Yamamoto to start out.
It could be Yamamoto. It could be Carconi.
Once again, while you're waiting for that injury report to,
because Kerfoot and O'Brien got to come back at some point.
Yeah,
and Coach indicated the other day that he said they're injured, they're not dead.
Yeah,
and he said there's nothing that is indicating that they won't be ready for the start of the season in 2.5 weeks.
Yeah,
and
2.5 weeks is a long time.
Yeah,
and neither of their injuries are serious.
Yeah, so if Iginla was to somehow crack the roster, it's either the third or the fourth.
Yeah,
and maybe you just stick him on the third, but I feel like that's a weird trio of McBain and Krauss and Iginla.
Yeah, see that. Do you give a little bit of time to a Cole Baudouin? Do you give him a 7 to 10 game?
I don't know.
He fits better on that third line.
He does.
So when you're evaluating where am I going to put these guys when they're playing, you probably don't want to put Iginla out on a line where
it's a checking
line. You
have
2 guys that are going to go out and fight people every 3 seconds.
It's a checking line.
Like we saw with Lawson Krauss, popularity has grown over the last couple of days. If you're buying Lawson Krauss stock, I hope you bought it
now's the time.
3 days ago because
he's back.
I'm excited.
Me too.
I'm really excited for Lawson Krauss because what we were talking about, the whole conversation around how does this season go? Do we make the playoffs? If you're okay changing subjects.
Yeah.
Is can this third line produce like the third line is expected to produce? And can Lawson Krauss be the point producer of 2 years ago and still play a very physical game? Obviously, I think that's not an option for Lawson Krauss. He has to play a physical game. And then can McBain improve the contract?
If you can get 70 to 75 points between those two, Utah's making the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, Krauss only had 18 a year ago. I think McBain had 27.
Yeah.
But the previous 2 years, Krauss had 43 and 45. If you can get just 40 out of Krauss, and if you can get 30 to 35 out of McBain, you got 75 points from that third line, and then whoever fits in.
Which should be the expectation with the money they're making.
Yes, It should be the expectation. And then you get, whatever else is just gravy from that, whoever the third skater is on that line.
Yeah, which eventually I believe will be Kerfoot. But that's why I feel like either you play Michael Carcone there, who's undersized but can score. It's nice to have a guy who's a little faster.
He's fierce.
He is. He plays a bigger game.
He plays a way bigger game.
So I actually don't hate putting him on that third line.
No, I don't either.
And then, but I've been a proponent of I really like Cole Baudouin. I understand that probably from the perspective of the organization, he's not ready.
I don't think he is.
That's fine. And we can disagree because I have a podcast and who cares what I think. But I do think that it would be beneficial instead of giving Carcone that time.
Sure.
Maybe you give a little 5 to 10 game spurt.
Here's my argument against that though. It's year 5 of the rebuild.
Yeah.
You don't have 5 to 10 games right now to just see how some players might manage.
Sure.
You need to win hockey games. You need to start out hot. And I think that's why you've got Carcone and why you have potentially Yamamoto and you've got Kerfoot and O'Brien is because you need those types of players to come in and to bring that intensity.
Yeah.
And that's why, and watching Baudouin this year, not that he's taken a step back, but I'm not as impressed as I was a season ago.
Sure.
Like last season, he was doing incredible things and pushing, and I think he, was forcing the coaching staff to make a tough decision. I don't feel like he's doing that right now.
But when I look at that prospect camp and what he did during the prospect camp, I feel like I was relatively impressed with what he was doing.
But
and how hard he was playing. I felt like he was the all-star of that prospect camp.
Yeah, he was very good, but now we're playing against
It's
NHL.
true. Now we're playing against the big boys. It's true.
And the potential's there. I think your hopes is that he can become, your third line center.
Yeah.
And as I said before, I think next season is when you're really going to see some of these prospects really pushing for roster spots on opening day. Sure. I think Iginla's going to do that. I think Baudouin's going to do that a year from now. Boot and Simashev probably going to have some opportunities because, again, you have Ian Cole coming off the books a year from now, and unless he has a phenomenal season and shows that he needs to come back on another, short-term deal, I think, like I said, I think next year is really when we're going to see, okay, Iginla's making the roster. Okay, Baudouin is really pushing to make the roster. Okay, Simashev is an opening day roster guy.
Yeah.
But just based off of what they're trying to accomplish, the amount of veteran depth they have right now, I don't necessarily see it. And we can get into that here in a minute. I want to talk more on Krauss.
Yeah.
He is playing phenomenal hockey. He is playing the type of hockey that this organization expected him to play. He's playing, I've been playing some NHL 26 and his X factor is like, it's big rig. He's playing like a big rig right now. How
do you balance the excitement for a player like Krauss with the, with the notion that preseason doesn't matter?
I think approach does.
Yeah.
You know,
because I agree with you, but I'm from like a fan perspective, like preseason doesn't matter, but then why are we getting excited about how these guys are performing?
I think approach matters, and I think the fact that Krauss has come into training camp and he's playing in these preseason games like he has a chip on his shoulder, like he's got something to prove, because he does.
He does.
You know, he was the associate captain. He was, you know, he's making, I think, the second or third most amongst forwards on the team right now.
Yeah.
And he had 18 points a year ago when he had, I think he averaged 43.5 the previous 2 years.
Yeah.
That's why I get excited about Krauss, is because when you watched him play last year, he just had this weird, like, not depressed, but the way that he played was just like so down in the dumps.
Yeah, there could be a transition. I don't know. It's just the way that they moved here last year was so weird.
Yeah,
Krauss
I think that affected him a lot.
Krauss had to move his wife. All these things. But he's making $4.3 million.
He is.
So the expectation should be some production.
And that's why this preseason performance by Krauss has me excited, because he's noticeably different. He's noticeably different on the ice. He's noticeably different in the locker room.
I've seen attitude stuff. There's even videos of him where like he looks happier.
He does.
Yeah, he looks happier to be here, which is good.
Yeah. So
for a guy like that,
like you said earlier, buy the Krauss stock right now, because I think he's going to have a 40 to 50 point season, and if he does that, I believe Utah makes the playoffs.
Yeah, that's the thing. When you're a borderline playoff team, all it takes is one person.
It does.
It takes one skater showing up in a way they haven't shown up to just put you over the edge just a little bit. Think of all of the heartbreaking games that we lost last season.
Yeah.
If we just didn't crap the bed in overtime for, what was it, 12 games?
Yeah.
12, 13 games. If we could just cut that in half, playoff team.
If you won 4 of those.
Yeah.
That's
playoff
the
team.
difference.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
I ranked Krauss as the 4th most important player to have a big season this year.
Yeah.
And a lot of people
Some people made fun of you.
But look at
my burner account made. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I know. I thought I recognized the
Alma Bean
the
made fun of you. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
You know, if you would have gotten 35 points out of Krauss last year, which is 10 less than he had the previous 2 seasons.
Gosh, it is hard to look about how much he underperformed last season. It's tough to look at.
He's the difference.
Yeah, he is.
If you would have gotten 40 points out of Krauss, they make the playoffs.
If you'd gotten 35 points out of Krauss.
Yes. They make the playoffs.
Yeah.
So that's why this is exciting. And I think it's maybe a storyline that's being buried beneath all this, like, oh no, the team's 0-3 and they've been outscored like 27-8 or something like that. Whatever.
I also think that fans need to look at the cap jumping as a benefit. I want to talk about a couple different players right now who are in contract seasons.
Yeah.
And Krauss not in a contract season, but in next year's a contract season.
Yeah.
So you need to jump this year and then jump next year. Yeah. Because $4.3 million isn't nothing, but it's becoming a little less important to carry guys like that.
Right.
Guys like McBain, he was paid 5.5. Was that his contract? That seemed like a lot. Yeah, that seemed like a lot, but not when the cap is jumping like it is. So I would say, when I look at players who, I feel like a lot of people are freaking out about the Cooley situation and him not having a contract.
Yeah, they need to stop.
You should be relieved that the player who wants to get paid a lot of money wants to make more money, because he knows that right now his worth is, he could easily get 8.5, 9.
Yeah.
So what does he think he can get at the end of the season if he makes a jump like last year?
If he puts up 85 to 90 points,
he's going to get paid $10 million.
He might be a $10 million player.
Not might be, because the cap is leaping. The cap isn't just trickling upward. It is jumping $4 million over the next, this last season, 4, another 4, another 4. Who knows what's going to do after that with the growth of the sport? Like, these players, you're going to see players in the next 5 to 10 years making $20 million a season. Yeah. So be relieved that a player that young wants to go out and prove himself even more.
When he said in media day, he's leaving it to his agents to get that all figured out. He is primarily focused on dominating.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to.
Because why? Because the kid likes to win, obviously.
He likes to win.
He got a little taste of winning in the World Championship.
And he wants a bag.
But the dude's going to get a lot of money.
Yep.
I think at a bare minimum at the end of the season, if you paid him right now 8.5 to 9, he's making $1 million a year bet on himself right now.
Yeah.
That he makes, that he
and it's a good bet.
I agree. Yeah.
I mean, if he sees a 20-point increase like he has, like he did last year, that's 85 points.
Yeah. So I think fans need to chill out about the Logan Cooley situation.
It's going to get done.
He's not leaving Utah. No. Chill out. He's staying in Utah. He loves it here. He said that 1,000 times.
Yes.
He wants to play with his friends that are here. He's grown with this organization.
He sees the vision.
Yeah.
The organization wants to get it done, but right now they're in an awkward spot because, they can't there's not like an offer sheet situation, right? Like they can't force him to sign right now.
No. And they shouldn't want to.
No. I mean, they should want to in the sense that they want to get it done now.
Yeah, it's true.
But like it's kind of in Cooley's, camp.
Yeah, let the player who's going to be the face of our franchise, let that whole situation just happen in good faith between him and the organization. He's going to stay, and he's just going to make more money because he's waiting.
It's either going to be a max long-term deal.
Yeah.
And worst case scenario, they offer sheet him.
Yeah. Also,
he's not going anywhere.
I think worst case scenario for him is he just makes the exact same money they're offering him now.
Yeah.
That offer isn't going down.
No.
So
whether it's an offer sheet, a bridge deal, or a max, he's staying here. And I think it's good that he wants to bet on himself.
Yeah. The other player I wanted to talk about was Barrett Hayton. Also in a contract year, going to be a restricted free agent next year. The restricted free agency gives the organization a little bit more. Just it ties him to the organization for a little longer.
He can't really walk. I mean, it takes a lot to get to that point. But
he's making currently right now. Barrett Hayton's making 2.65. So I think.
What do you have last season? 40 points.
Oh man, yeah, I'm not sure exactly. It was somewhere around there.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
I don't think he broke 50.
No, it wasn't. Yeah, Hayton had. Hayton had 46 points.
Okay.
So 20 goals.
How many games did he play?
26 assists. And he played,
majority of the year, I think.
Yes. Yeah, he pretty much played the entire season.
Yeah.
He didn't have any.
It was a good year.
It was a good year for him. I thought.
He needs to probably break 60.
I think so.
Especially if he is paired with Schmaltz and Keller through the majority of the year. Dude needs to be between 50 and 60 points.
Yeah, there's no reason why he shouldn't be breaking at least, I think, mid-50s to 60 points.
Yeah.
If you're going to be paired with those two players the entire season. So I'm excited about Barrett Hayton. I would expect him to make a little bit of a jump this year as a fan. At least a 10-point jump with what's expected.
Yeah.
And you increase the talent level in that top six, all players should be scoring more points. So another player.
The rising tide lifts all the boats, right?
Exactly. That was a great saying. Cole just made that up on the spot. Nick Schmaltz. Nick Schmaltz is the next guy who is in a contract year that I want to talk about. There's a couple other guys who are in contract years that I don't expect to see wearing a Mammoth uniform next year.
Okay.
Guys like Kerfoot. Guys like
Cole, probably.
Guys like Kevin Stenlund.
I don't know.
Maybe though. Maybe with Kevin. Maybe with either of those guys.
Like I think Kerfoot and Cole are probably a pretty good bet that you don't see them return.
I think so.
Stenlund, and we don't need to get super into this. I think he's underrated.
I think so too.
I think he is so good on the PK. He's so good in the faceoff circle. He's very good defensively, and he's got a really good shot. Like that's a guy that
his shot is nasty.
That's a guy I'd bring back.
Yeah,
I wouldn't let him walk.
I agree with that. But I think that his output is a little less important.
Yeah, and
I mean, obviously, I think he'll continue to perform the way he's expected to perform. But he's on the fourth line.
Yeah.
So you're not looking at this guy as like he's in a contract year. He's
a defensive-minded player.
Yes, exactly. He's a defensive forward. Which, I know the league's listening right now, there should be, if there is an offensive defenseman award, there should be a defensive forward award. I think for the best defensive forward. That's just like my opinion though. So does it really matter? I don't know. Nick Schmaltz is the next player that I want to talk about. He's making 5.85 right now, and he's in a contract year. He will be an unrestricted free agent at the end of the season. I think it's hard not to expect big things out of Nick Schmaltz.
Regardless of what he wants.
Regardless
if he wants to be here, he needs a big year. Because he either needs to show that he wants to stay, or he needs to show with whatever future team that he's going to be with that he is very good.
Yeah. 43 assists, 20 goals last season. He had 63 points. It's a good year. Not paired. No, I mean the consistency.
I
And
think
the pairings.
I think he's a $6 million player.
I think so.
I don't know if he's worth more than that.
No, I think no matter where he goes, he'll be a $6 million player.
Yeah.
I think in Utah, I wouldn't expect him to make a huge jump. He's
No.
already very developed.
Yeah, I think I think 60 to 70 points is about his peak.
Yeah. If you're a Utah fan right now, would you expect to see him on the Mammoth next year?
That's a really hard question.
Yeah.
My knee-jerk reaction is no.
Sure.
And I don't.
I really like watching Nick Schmaltz play hockey.
Yeah, he's a good player. For sure.
I think what I see a lot, and this is just observations on the internet, Nick Schmaltz gets kind of a good amount of flack.
Yeah.
I think it still kind of feels like he wants to be here, but does he? Maybe not the most motivated in the Utah market. Do you
I
feel
don't
like that's
know
accurate?
that he's as fierce as a competitor as a Keller or a Cooley
He's not.
or a Gunther.
Yeah.
I think he wants to win. And
Yeah.
but
He's 29, so
Yeah.
he's technically in his prime.
yeah.
Should be in his prime. I don't know. I'm not sure what to expect from Nick Schmaltz this year. I hope that we're all very pleasantly surprised and the Mammoth have
If
fun
you
next
get
year.
60 plus points out of him,
Yeah,
it's a great year.
good season.
Yeah, because you're probably going to get 90 to 100 out of Keller. And if you can get 50 to 60 out of Hayton, and then again, like we've talked about, if you're getting 80 to 90 out of Cooley, if you're getting 70 to 80 out of Gunther, if you're getting 70 to 80 out of Paterka,
Yeah,
and then, Krauss and McBain do their thing,
yeah.
Utah's making the playoffs.
And what I'm about to say is not a knock on Clayton Keller. Love Clayton Keller. Think he can carry a line, and 100% believe that he's a top line winger and on any team in the league. Do you feel like him not being paired with Logan Cooley is gonna maybe hurt his stats a little bit?
No,
No,
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Just a thought, because Cooley can carry any line, and
But I think that's why
so
you
talented.
see that the lines formulated that way.
That's true, because Keller could carry a line and Cooley can carry a line. If
Imagine
you know that both of them can carry lines, why not?
Yeah.
Why are we putting them on the same line?
Exactly.
That's a good point.
They're looking.
Sorry, I just made your point for you. I apologize.
They're looking for more depth right now. They're looking
Yeah.
to spread it out.
Sure.
Because last year, the majority of your points came from like the top line.
Yeah.
Gunther, Cooley, and Keller. You need to spread that out now. Because you have the ability to do so. You have Paterka. You added more depth down the line. You need to spread it out, and that's what they're looking to do. And that's also why a lot of people are, why are you taking Cooley out and why are you taking Cooley off of the top power play unit? You need to spread the wealth.
Yeah.
Because last year the second power play line was abysmal.
Second power play line was so bad.
If the top power
And it was
play,
always mixing up.
it was.
So yeah, it was.
It was
hard
a
to watch.
revolving door, and they never figured it out. And they need you need that. You need to get more production down the roster, whether it's regular lines or special teams. You got to have that, and that is why Cooley and Paterka are probably going to be on that second power play. I like it. People are like, "Oh no, you can't do that." Yes, you can.
Yeah,
and you at least got to try it.
I like it. That's a good way of putting it. I don't think I'd really thought about that too much. I think you always assume pair all of your best players together, but the expectation is that some of these players can
get
carry
better.
other players. Yeah.
You have more good players.
Yeah,
they can't all play on that top line.
No, I think especially, in 2 years, 3 years, when you have Daniel Boot, Kobodwan, Iginla, Denoyer, all like where you're not slanting them on the fourth line. I think the expectation is I would expect big things from both those lines this year.
Yep.
And I would expect Hayton and Schmaltz to play like they're in a contract year.
Yep.
And that's only going to make Clayton Keller better, and Clayton Keller's only going to make them better. So I think it probably benefits both of them to be lined up with. I feel like if I was them, I would be very happy that it wasn't them two and Paterka.
Yeah.
I don't think that would be a great lineup.
No.
But Clayton Keller has played with both these guys in Arizona for years.
He's going to push him too.
Yeah.
He's competitive.
Yeah.
If they're not producing, he's going to yell at them.
Yeah. It's a good move. Moving on, something that we did all last season was every week we would talk about the active injuries, just an injury report of what's going on with players. Obviously, these can change in days, they can change in weeks, but I I think the big one people want to know about is, Cole, have you heard anything about Logan Cooley?
Just day to day right now.
Yeah. I don't think it was anything big.
No.
Watching that hit, it was dirty, but it was also just...
He didn't lay on the ice for 5 minutes.
No.
He went under his own power. He went right to the bench. There were some conversations. He gave it a go, and then he came right back.
I would be relatively unconcerned if I was a fan, just especially if a star player gets any sort of hurt, like if he had a little boo-boo, they're taking him out for the rest of preseason. Yeah. Don't let him go back in. Save him for when it matters. And I feel like just players play tougher when it matters too. If you've watched the preseason, that's clear. It is. Yeah, it's been underwhelming, but that's okay. We talked about that already. Barrett Hayton's day-to-day, once again,
I think just minor maintenance.
Yeah. A lot of these things are going to be maintenance. I think the Jack McBain injury is also a maintenance thing. I think the Kerfoot and O'Brien injuries are both lower body injuries, but once again, not
week to week,
not super specified week to week. I would expect them to be back soon.
Coach did make an interesting comment about Liam yesterday.
Cool. Not cool.
He says it's progressing, but he's still a ways out. I don't know if that's his exact words.
So maybe he's a month out or 3 weeks out.
Yeah. I mean, I would expect Kerfoot back before O'Brien at this point. We'll see how that goes.
Kerfoot's, in my opinion, just a more important. I mean, it's your third line winger.
100%.
I think as a locker room guy, he's really important. I think Liam too. So hope both these guys get back pretty soon. And the other guys that are on the injury list are not
important.
Not
sorry.
Not super worth mentioning. I think some of them just because like Caleb Donaye is on the injury report.
Yeah.
He has a wrist injury. He just had wrist surgery.
It is a bummer that we're not seeing him playing right now.
It sucks. Yeah, it does suck.
I actually thought about that yesterday. Watching Iginla and Baudouin.
It would have been fun
to see what he could do.
It would have been fun to have Cole Baudouin, Iginla, and Donaye there at the same time.
Yeah.
Because
it's two centers, but
yeah, I know, but why not?
Or Iginla and Baudouin and maybe Boot and Denoyer or something like that.
Yeah, the combination.
What have you thought? I mean, we could probably finish with this. What have you thought about Simashev and Boot? Bootski, as they call him.
Yeah. I think when people give nicknames, I don't hear the nicknames inside the locker room. I just think about their Instagram handles, which is dumb. But Boot feels, at some points, it feels like he gives these flashes of brilliance.
Yes.
And then sometimes it feels like he's a little lost, which is okay. He's coming from a completely different
system
hockey.
And
yeah, he's coming from a different hockey.
He was playing like 9 minutes in the KHL.
Yeah. 9 minutes in the KHL and they were not letting him play offense. But that goal he scored the other day, I was like, holy crap.
Filthy.
This dude is disgusting.
That was like, that goal, you look at it and go, that's Tij Thompson.
Yeah.
Like
just a big, like a monstrous player who can move like that.
His ceiling is crazy.
Yeah.
But it
looked like Tij Thompson.
It did.
It's good.
His ceiling is wild. Can he reach it? We're going to see.
He's not, and he's also not there yet. I would expect him to start in the AHL.
I think so too.
But those little flashes, when you see him, even not on the goal, you see it every once in a while when he's stick handling around guys. I'm like, how are you that big?
I think
and moving like that.
The positive about where he's struggling right now is it's a lot of positioning.
Yeah.
It's a lot of he just doesn't know where to be.
Yeah.
And you can fix that.
Which is very normal.
You can teach that. Yes.
It's very normal. Kids coming from the KHL.
Yeah.
Especially if you're playing forward. I feel like the positioning on defense is similar in the KHL.
Yeah.
Positioning in offense is just it's a different game.
It's a different game.
It's a different game. You're
defense
playing with all
really
these
don't
old
contribute
crazy
offensively.
Russians.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's just not the same thing.
No. But when Boot is at his best, when the puck is on his stick and he is flying with all his size right at the net, that is where he is so dangerous.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's what Utah's trying to unlock, and I think that's why they picked him, in the first round. I think that's the potential they see, and that's what they're hoping he turns into, is that he can produce consistently. The flashes we've seen, that's what they're hoping to get as consistent as possible.
I think he'll go play really well in the AHL.
Yeah.
Get used to the
size
of the game.
Go dominate the A.
Yeah.
I think that's the expectation. I do not think he's going to crack the opening day roster.
There should be an expectation that Tucson plays really well this year. With how much talent they're being handed on a platter, there should be an expectation that they play quite well.
And finishing on Simashev, he's closer than Boot is.
Yeah.
I don't know if his ceiling is as high, but I think there's a better chance that he reaches his ceiling than Boot does.
Yeah.
He's and I think the positives of Simashev's game is he's calm, he's collected. It reminds me a lot of Sergachev.
Yeah.
He plays like he's never bothered.
Friends, so that makes sense. He probably just watches Sergachev all the time.
He's never bothered.
Yeah.
And he plays really smart. He's knowing when to pinch at the right moments. I think that's been an issue for Lamoureux. He needs to figure out better when to pinch and when to step up. Simashev has done it beautifully.
Yeah.
And he's been dangerous. Yeah. And then he's been, really good defensively. And so, people have asked me all off season, give us a percentage on Boot and Simashev cracking the roster. I don't know. Percentages is weird to me.
Yeah.
I don't really know how to put a percentage.
I think that in order for Simashev to crack the roster, they need to move a veteran defenseman or a veteran defenseman. Yeah. And I just don't see how the lines as I see them right now, I don't see how that's not our opening day lineup. I don't see how you don't have Sergachev and Marino
on the top,
Cole and Dursey on the second, and then Schmidt and Mata on the third. And I think you can kind of mix around those bottom. I think you could mix around pretty much all these lines because Dursey could play up on the first line very easily. And you could pair Marino and Schmidt together. Yeah. I think there's a lot of ways that you can pair it. I don't see how we don't go with these six.
Yeah.
And I don't see how if you do have Simashev come out, you're not having him come to sit in the gondola and watch.
Right. You want him playing
games. You want him playing games. So I just don't.
Unless they want to roll with 7 defensemen.
Yeah, roll with 7 defensemen, and then who do you scratch every night? Like you didn't sign Schmidt to scratch him.
No.
You didn't. You don't have Ian Cole, who is a shot blocking machine,
right,
to scratch him, and you're not scratching Sergachev, Marino, or Dursey.
Mm.
And I don't think that you should scratch a guy like Ole Mata either. He had a good offseason.
Right.
He had a really good Worlds. I see Simashev starting in the A,
maybe
unless
20.
There's a move.
Yeah, and I think Simashev is the first guy they call.
Same.
When there's an injury.
Yes. There's no other defenseman that you're bringing up except for Simashev, and with the exception of maybe Lamoureux. And if you roll with 7, maybe you do roll with Lamoureux and then send Simashev down to play.
Yeah.
I would see them both starting out there just because there is a little bit of an embarrassment of talent.
Yeah.
And I think
which is good.
It's a good problem to have. That's why they went out and signed Schmidt. That's why they went out and signed guys like Tanev, is so that you don't want, like if you're the Blackhawks right now or if you're the Sharks right now, these decisions aren't hard.
No.
You're like, we know exactly who sucks at hockey here. It's very clear.
It's everyone.
Everyone sucks
Except
at hockey.
for 3 players.
Exactly.
Except for their 3 most recent draft picks.
Yeah, you don't want that situation, especially 5 years into a rebuild. So I would just be optimistic about the fact that you have to send talent down to the A.
Yeah. So recapping, everybody chill out on the preseason. Results don't matter. It's more about establishing your culture and your identity.
Getting your legs under you too.
Yep, getting the legs under the veterans, seeing what the prospects
at random.
What the prospects can do. Krauss has looked phenomenal. You get excited about that. And then in terms of these young prospects, they have looked good. There have been really good flashes, promising moments where you look at it and go, okay, I could see the vision. I could see why these guys were first-round picks. But I don't know if any of them are on that opening day roster. I think Iginla and Baudouin go back to the juniors. I think Lamoureux and Simashev and Boot all go down to Tucson. And I think Simashev is probably the most likely guy to get that first phone call when an injury happens. Yeah,
there aren't going to be any. I don't think there's going to be a ton of surprises.
It is better, I think, for all of their developments in those situations, and especially the guys going to the AHL. I think Boot would greatly benefit to go down to the A and just dominate.
Yeah.
Figure it out and learn that positioning. Because those games, like, it's not the NHL. You're not worried about if your AHL team is losing. Whatever. It is what it is. But if he can learn there and then come up and test the waters and see how it goes. And the same thing with Simashev. Let him go dominate. Let him and Lamoureux be your top pairing in Tucson and really figure it out. And play NHL level hockey in the A for a while.
Yeah.
And then call them up when you need them.
Yeah.
And see how they do.
I agree. It's exciting.
It is.
And just a couple more preseason games. It is September 23rd as we're recording. We only have 2 weeks for the regular season.
Yep.
There's some weird gaps in our schedule. Got a game in Boise coming up against the Kings. That's exciting.
And we'll get to see, the revamped lower bowl in the Delta Center and the Mammoth at center ice.
What day is that? What day is the?
I think the second is the first home preseason game.
Yeah.
They got to get some work done. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, I've seen recent pictures and I'm like, oh boy.
But if we learned anything about SEG and Ryan Smith, they make it happen. It gets done.
Yeah, I think a recent interview just from the assistant general manager talking about how they just haven't been told no on anything yet.
Yeah.
They're just waiting for that moment where they're like, no, we can't do that because they haven't said no to anything.
Yeah.
If you've seen the renderings for the inside of the stadium are phenomenal, but especially if you've seen the photos of the inside of that practice facility, I think it's pretty clear that they didn't say no to any request. It was quick.
Anything anybody on the team wanted, they got.
Yeah, what did Nate Schmidt say? Nate Schmidt said that the Panthers have a good practice
facility,
number
but it's
2, second in the league.
Yeah, he says number 2.
Yeah,
and then the Utah's I
think he had.
And everyone's like, of course he's going to say that.
Yeah.
Yes, but I think he really means it.
Yeah.
I have not been to Florida's facility.
Yeah.
But I've been all the way through Utah's. It's unbelievable. And
yeah.
I think one last little story here. I was talking with Coach Torney during media day. We were going on our tour, and he actually pulled a few of us aside, and he says, hey, come here, I want to show you something. And he goes right outside his office, and he starts to explain to us, I don't know, they wanted the players to funnel a certain way when they came in, and they just weren't doing that. And I think there was a lot of noise going on or something like that. I can't remember all the details, but he went to I think it's Layton Construction that's doing the practice facility.
Yeah.
And he goes, I need a door right here. And they say, okay. And so he goes back into his office and he hears some rumblings and he grabs some lunch. He comes back 4 hours later, there was a door.
Yeah.
That's what they're working with. And it's awesome. And the players love it. And, look good, feel good, play good. If you have the best facilities and ownership at your fingertips, good things are going to happen.
Who do you attribute that quote to, the look good, feel good, play good quote?
I don't know.
Some people say it's Deion Sanders. It was Jerry Rice, just so everyone knows.
There you go.
Yeah.
A little bit of football.
Don't give any credit to Deion on that one. Phenomenal player, mediocre coach. Give the credit to Jerry Rice where it really belongs.
There you go.
Yep. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you have questions, if you have comments or anything, just hit us up on social media. You can watch the show on KSL's YouTube page. You can also listen to the show pretty much anywhere we listen to YouTube, but all your classics, Apple, Spotify. Listen to us, interact with us, leave comments, leave questions. We'll answer those next week. And we'll be happy to have Kelly back in the chair where Cole's sitting. How dare you sit where she sat next week. Thanks for listening. Love ya.